This is Mick Elliott from Electronic Specifier. I am on the Avnet Silica stand at Electronica. With me is Gilles Beltran, who is the president of Avnet Silica Europe. Gilles, if we could start just by maybe looking at the market in Europe, distribution market, trends you've seen and how it's going.
Yep, thanks, and good morning. So, European market, the distribution European market is really, is now since I would say more than a year into a correction situation. I think the peak for all of us in distribution was June quarter 2023, and since then, clearly there's been a correction. If we look last quarter, there was around minus 30 plus % decrease year over year. Even furthermore in some countries like Germany, where the decrease was even bigger. That's clearly the outcome of the previous years overstated, let's say, revenue by the overall environment, and I think it's to me also now amplified by the existing economical situation in Europe and some of the trends, because when we look today the semiconductor market globally, when you look at the WSTS, last quarter has been a record quarter ever. Clearly driven by AI and everything around AI from a consumption standpoint, not really in Europe, and not really in our industrial and mass market situation. So that's where, driven by, when we think about Germany, the main market of Germany, just to start, is the biggest country for us in Europe from a weight standpoint. And the biggest industry in Germany, at least for electronic, is automotive. And we see and we hear what's happening right now in the automotive market, so that's more challenged. There already have been some experiences like that in the past in the European market. I think in the 80s when Japanese were coming in Europe as well. Now it's a different way with the electrification, with the electrical car and Chinese or Korean as well, because it's not only Chinese. So they will need adaptation, but for the time being there's a little bit more challenge, and automotive market drives also indirect other markets like industrial. And that's the effect, or the effect that we see, plus the low, or it was high interest rate, which has been also driving some of the market, like construction, almost down to zero. I hope that some of the lower rate today to come will allow a little bit of restart in that market is needed. So that's so I would say all in all, we clearly have been corrected. I think what we see, we are reaching a kind of plateau right now, which should be, let's say, heading, we hope, with also what we are hearing from our suppliers, to more positive, and the demand on the customer after the week, which is mixed. We find some customers still weak for 2025, so others that's still a little bit more positive. Again, it's nothing like a big bang in terms of the trend, but being more positive than 2024, that should lead to some growth, yearly growth in the second half of the calendar year 25, and that's what we somewhere hope, because it's still no strong facts yet behind. We start seeing some of the parameter. Our IP&E colleagues now see a book-to-bill of above 1 or in the range of 1 since few months. And they didn't go in the past as well in all the NCNR process that the semiconductor supplier did impose to us and then to the market. So I would say the inventory overall is cleaner on their side than potentially it is on the semiconductor side, even if we still see some pockets of inventory, but I believe we're also getting a little bit out of the big oversized inventory that we had everywhere for some time as well. So again, it's not spread in the same way on every single market, every single customers, every single country, but that's about what we see also here. We still have to be, and I mean I made a video last week on LinkedIn about some ask that we have, which is visibility from our customers and customer of the customers as well, because as I mentioned, the semiconductor usage as a whole is quite high, driven by few technologies, specifically digital and low, and very low node in terms of technology. And those ones, they all go to almost one founder, which is called TSMC.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the visibility, and I'm specifically thinking about memory. Memory today, the memory used for data server, to be with NVIDIA or the competitors of NVIDIA in GPUs, is using the same production line than LPDDR4, than let's say some of the memories we are using in the industrial market as well. And at some point, if we not able to give a little bit more visibility, I believe TSMC will make the choice of where or what to focus to use their capacity at maximum. And then we get back then to the physical cycle of production, which is not less than 6 months. So we just have to be careful. I'm not saying it's going to be allocation. It's too early or it's not what I can see up to now. But things are very much in matrix mode on a lot of parameter, and things can be turning pretty quickly as well if you get one after the other going in one direction only. So that's just we need visibility. That's my ask.
But there's still a little bit of inventory out there, isn't there? Certainly the impression I've got here talking to other companies this week is that, and it's taken a bit longer than they anticipated for that inventory to be cleared.
Clearly, because it takes longer because the demand has been weaker. So it's just about that. That's the main parameter. There are still some pocket of over inventory at customer and on the supply chain, no question. But again, the picture is much better than it was a few months ago. Even if I think, maybe if we get back 6 months ago or 9 months ago, we're saying maybe it's going to be better in 6 months. So it's better, but not to the point that we see the full rebound of the demand completely. Because I think, as I mentioned, the economical European situation is certainly not better than what it was 6 months ago as well.
Okay. So what's Avnet Silica been doing to navigate these slightly troubled waters?
Yeah, I think you can't control what the market does. That's just impossible. Sure. So the only thing you can control is how you behave in the market and continue focusing on your fundamentals. And we continue driving our focus with our main partners in terms of suppliers, with the customer to provide the expected service, the demand creation, and continue taking share, increasing our share with our suppliers, which we do on the market as well, on the demand and consolidating that as well, which is clearly ongoing, and continue working on, as I said, some of the fundamental like demand creation. We can come back on that and continuing being, I think, more efficient in the process that we have and taking. I'm not saying that more quiet, because it's not quiet in terms of period, but we still need to be focused on the projects that we have on our side, just to be more efficient, be more effective as well. I really took the two adjectives to allow the organization to focus more and more on what is the main things for us, which is selling the right value to our customers and to our supplier and partners. And that's really what we are doing, everything in parallel as well, and continue building the Avnet value proposition, where Avnet Silica it's a main part of it, and including Farnell, for instance, and the full end-to-end approach that we have, I think, as Avnet, which is pretty unique on the market.
I'm kind of hearing slightly more encouraging news on design-ins, and I know they don't come to fruition maybe sometimes for 18 months, 2 years, but are you seeing a little bit more activity on that front?
So I would call the demand creation, the project on their own, I mean, is there. So we see more and more, I would say, demand. The projects are there. We try to position more inside one project. That's also how we try to increase our demand creation position and to be selling more on already the customers we know. We also try to sell to more customers that we don't know as well. We continue. Part of the efficiency and the productivity is by digitalization. So we build more and more tools internally to help the sales, the FIE, the internal sales as well, also from an outside standpoint. So that's data. I mean, we use more and more the data. I think this is one of the strengths, or also I would say strengths and opportunity that we have in distribution with the breadth of the customers and the material we work with. So activity is there. What we see clearly a little bit, I would say, weaker, taking more time that we potentially were expecting is in converting those opportunity in products being in production. I think there is, we talked about the economical situation, the demand. I also think some of the customers have their previous, or let's say, inventory, finished good inventory they need to be able to sell before launching potentially new generations as well. So I think there is kind of mix of different elements that are generating this. But the overall demand creation is there, continue to progress differently. New topics happening or coming more and more to materials. But again, the conversion time is a little bit longer than what we were used or what we would like as well to get those innovation on, in reality, making them real.
Because I guess, as you mentioned, there are different topics coming through, different subjects coming through, and I guess one of the reasons for some optimism is that just electronics is just getting everywhere now, and you're going to get more and more people requiring demand creation, design in support, and are you well placed to deliver that?
We can always do better. So we believe we are well positioned, not to where I would like we are as a company, but we getting into that direction. I agree with you. I mean, and I think in our last discussion that was already the case. Electronic is pervasive. Will go in more and more applications, and even there is really some transition. So we talked about AI, even if AI today is mostly driven in demand by data center and generative AI in data center. AI on the edge, it will be is a topic today to some application, maybe more consumer than industrial, but it will become a lot and everywhere in industrial applications as well. So that's projects that are in discussions today. We talked about last time about security. It's still, it's really still ongoing. As Avnet Silica, we ran about, I think we now 15 or 16 seminars across Europe. With, I will give a count of one numbers, about 250, 300 customers attended those seminars. Very technical, very with key partners talking and participating in the seminar together with our experts. Very productive discussion. High level of interest. Now it's how we get into making it integrated in the product as well, which will be required. So I would say by law by 2027, but also I think by need in protecting the application, in protecting the companies, the project, because it's more and more, and we see, I think there is not, I'm not saying a day because I might be a little bit exaggerating, but at least a week without seeing even big companies being attacked from a cybersecurity standpoint. So It's also not just a need by law, it's also, I think, an important aspect for owners, shareholders of a company, to protect the value and the integrity, I would say, of the company itself. And I think this process is really ongoing, but takes time. But we see some progress, and on that I think we have a unique value proposition, from product, from expertise, and also from network we build around the topic.
Okay, and so just finally, hopefully, if we talk at Embedded World, maybe this time in 6 months, you hope to see the clouds clearing and the sun shining a little, if not a heat wave, pleasantly warm.
I would say we should be at the end of winter, getting into spring. So I expect that could be, I mean, a kind of, if we see for the second half of calendar 25 a upturn, whatever, I'm not saying a strong change in the market, but a upturn. By an embedded world, we need to see strong facts that is going to be happening, otherwise it won't be the case. So I would agree, I mean, by what we can see today, I will be expecting to be in different, I'd say, factual situation by embedded world. But again, then the next months will tell us, and that's I think, I mean, any single prevision or forecast is never, I mean, when we look into the analyst numbers today or the company, I mean, there is a trend. The numbers themselves are always wrong. So but that's the nature of the forecast. Sure. So but it's important to integrate all the parameters and to try to make his own analysis of it, anticipate, and trying to navigate as best as we can into those situations.
Gilles Beltran, thank you very much.